Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Maker. I'm a brand experience designer, brand adventurer, and brand consultant. And this is part 2 of building a cafe brand with me with only £3,000. If you want to build your brand as well and you can't really afford a brand designer, this is just me showing you how I do it. You can use the questions or the prompts that I shared and will share to build whatever other business you want to build whatever brand you want to build for your business. These prompts and questions can definitely help you flesh out your brand so you can understand your business, the industry, the people you want to target, what kind of brand you're likely going to build, as well as the creative direction and output. Maybe because if you're not really a creative, then you may struggle with that part. But yeah, so if you want to learn how to build a brand for your business, follow along. This is part 2, and in part 2 I'm gonna be me, James and John are gonna be discovering more about the world of brand they want to build. Yeah, so let's get started. So before we get into it, again, I felt certain things. Yeah, I felt certain things just to make things easier for me and for you when consuming. The first question, which is question 23, because the last question stopped when I was 22, is rather, what would you want to be known for and why? With this question, it's always good. I always like to start with the negative, like what wouldn't you want to be known for and why, which is the second question actually. And for James and John, the establishment is not yet named, by the way. Let's see, what wouldn't they want to be known for? Oh, being the standard, another cafe that sells and not behaves. I don't like the word behaves. Is like the other cafes in the city. Let's just say in the city. Because if you look through, wait, did I actually write it here, or was it? I think I'm getting stuff mixed up. let's. I think I'm getting stuff mixed up. Yeah, I wrote it down here, not up there. So yeah, no. I think it was in there. Why? Was it? Yeah. Something along it's similar to their why, which is they want to they want to establish their own unique take on starting the day and starting it well. And yeah, being the standard is probably something you shouldn't do when you're trying to be unique in the industry. Serving food that isn't worth the money. Now, I feel like the prices for their food, even if the menu is simple, we don't know what the menu is in, like, we don't know the specific items that are going to be on the menu, but generally it's gonna be a simple menu. Just because they're 3 people, but they don't have like a large staff. James, John are working as well, and another person. If they want to like serve a bigger group of people, especially during rush hour, it would do them no favors. Oh wait, am I using it the right way? It wouldn't be easy. I mean, running a business is not easy in general, but like it would be extremely difficult to have like a large menu, and during rush hour maybe someone picks like something that takes some time, and you have like a whole line. You don't really have time you don't have the manpower to expend to work on something else when like there's a long line. So that's something I'd want them to avoid. So what was the point of this? Yeah, the menu is gonna be simple. So they shouldn't serve food that isn't worth the money. I've forgotten the point of the previous explanation. My mind is like that sometimes. Okay, yes, I remember the point. They are want to charge what Cafe, roughly what Cafe J and maybe Cafe C are charging for their food. Maybe not really up to the extremes of Cafe C, because Cafe C is actually extremely pricey. Like, I didn't realize how pricey it was until I looked at the menu. It looks just as good as Cafe J, but it's newer than Cafe J, so maybe that's why, things are much pricier. Anyway, something that isn't worth the money. Oh, the question is also, and why? So why won't they want to be the standard? Because it wouldn't make them unique and stand out. Their voice wouldn't be heard. Oh, I've remembered something. This is why you should watch part one, because you can understand why certain things are being thrown into different parts. Yeah. I always thought they should do a podcast. Yeah. So I've never seen a business doing a podcast. I could be wrong. Um, I could be wrong, but I've never seen business owners, especially of cafes, doing a podcast. But I could be wrong. So, yeah, doing a podcast is a unique way of doing marketing. Or even YouTube. I've seen that this channel I followed recently. It's called Fallow. It's a English restaurant. I've only watched like one short of theirs, and from what I gathered, roughly from what I saw, is that they show the behind the scenes of them preparing food for their customers, which I think is cool. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Yeah, it would make them be part of the many. No offense to other cafes. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, everybody's worth money because people won't come back. I mean, like, I don't know, I can't think of an experience offhand, but like, there have been times I have decided to try something out of curiosity, give someone a chance to make money. And my experience with either the product or the service has not been quite worth what I have paid for. So I wouldn't go back there again. I feel like there's something that is lingering on my mind that I have. Oh yes, when I was roughly like 14, 15 years old, there is this big well, she's popular. I'm not sure if she's like a big brand name, but her she's a very popular designer, local designer in the country. Let's call her boutique, like cafe boutique, or so like I feel like I had money. I was in the mall, I had money, I was shopping. I don't remember why I was in the mall or why I was shopping. And I spotted I spotted her boutique, and I was like, oh, it's time for me to buy something. I won't call it a brand name. It is a brand name locally, but I don't feel like it's as popular. her name is popular. I don't know if her boutique is popular. I'm not even sure if she's still alive. But yeah, I went into the boutique and I bought a set of earrings. Of course, that's what I could afford. But before I even got home, one of the earrings had snapped off the hook. And of course, it wasn't an expensive thing. Like, I don't think I paid a lot for it. But still, for someone with such a big name to have such a, I don't want to say shitty product, but to have such a poorly made product really shattered my expectations. I felt like, oh, this was way below what I paid for. And like I never went back again. That experience was enough to scar me. I I feel like people don't realize, especially business owners that do like fake marketing, they don't realize how damaging it is to say you do something to make yourself bigger than you actually are and not to meet that expectation when someone comes to buy from you. Yeah, so if you're a business owner, it's okay to want to be bigger than you actually are. I feel like I want to be bigger than I actually am and what I'm capable of at the moment. But it's all about being honest about where you are on your journey. Be like, oh, I want to reach maybe Cafe J's level, but our we're still building our fortress, still building our business. We may get there in like 3, 5 years. Definitely it's a vision of ours, but we are not there yet. But that is where we want to reach. That's fine. Compared to saying, oh, we as big as Cafe J, and whatever you serve is not on standard with Cafe J. It's way below the standard. Yeah, I hope you've understood that. So, selling food that isn't worth it because people won't. First of all, people won't come back. They wouldn't trust us. And it would give us a bad name, which would ultimately lead us not to make enough sales. Yeah, the very realistic situation. You need to serve food that is worth the money. Okay, what else would they want to be known for and why? If you look at their values, not being yeah, because in which I'm going to go over. Should I go over? No, let me go over them later. In their attributes, which I'll go over later, they want to be a good source of energy in the morning because it's a breakfast style cafe. So in the morning, the first people you interact with normally can determine how most of your mood is going to be for the rest of the day, depending on who you are as a person. Personally, for me, if someone pisses me off in the morning, it definitely can damage how productive I can be, how I function for a significant amount of the day, depending on how, they've depending on the situation. If it's if they've made me angry, definitely I'm out of commission. If they've insulted me, I'll be fine. Yeah. So being the reason someone has a bad day because we want to be a good source of energy in the morning where someone has been forced to leave the comfort of their bed to make money so that they can keep the roof over their heads. Making money is not okay. Making money is simple. It's not easy, it's simple. But of course it takes like if you're not like a freelancer or self-employed person like me who has kind of flexible hours, you need to force yourself out of bed. I mean, even I force myself out of bed. Actually, like this week, I have had to force myself out of bed just because like I have the people around me have expectations of me. Um, Not in terms of my work, but more so in terms of the work around the house. So I do have to wake up early to do chores. It's not something I do every day. I'm not very consistent with it. But because that expectation is there, I need to practice waking up early in order to do that so I can also have time to do my own work. Okay, let's leave it there for now. Should we leave it there for now? Should I add something? I want to add something here. No, it's here, so let's just leave it. Okay. So if you don't want to be known for things, what would you want to be known for and why? Okay. I mean, you can always just do the opposite. Serving food that is worth the money, because why would you want? I know it's a standard, but like, it would make people come back. It would make people increase their trust and loyalty. Who's texting me? Okay, that's just a network message. Loyalty to our business and eventually lead to more sales, because that is the basis of one's business, to make more money. Going against the norm, enjoying our own thing in terms of our food and how we serve our customers. Why? Because that will get us chosen from the sea of many. Yeah, simple answer. And a good source, a source of good energy at the start of someone's day. Good food can determine how you function for most of the day, but also a good interaction can give you energy to take on the day. Okay. Yeah. So in the grand mission, I wrote to serve good food and be a source of good energy to brighten one's morning. I don't really like to use the word. I need to find a synonym for brighten, but let's leave it there for now. Yeah. So with the first three answers, I'm sure you understand there is a pattern. Some of these questions may feel a little bit repetitive, but it's more so to really hone down and lock in on what is real. Someone can say, oh, you want to be high-end, you want to be fancy, you want to be luxurious, but when they actually mean they want to be taken seriously. I mean, like, luxury brands are taken seriously just because of the effort they put in their marketing and advertising, as well as their products. The quality of their products is higher than your average. At least that's what I like to think. I've not owned a luxury product before. So, like, yeah, discussions may feel repetitive, but it's just to make sure that the client knows, really is aware that, oh, this is what I want. Because some people can say they want something, and then they say something different, and they'll be like, oh, so what is it? Is it you want to be taken seriously? Do you want to be luxurious? Because there's a difference between those two. Yeah, so finding patterns is what actually will help organize all this data and information into now doing the creative direction. Yeah, so vision. Okay, I'm not sure if it was in this recording, not this recording, but like the recording for the first part, or it was in another recording, but I did say that I feel like these people are inspired somewhat by Starbucks, like how they want to be, I'd say perceived, but the impact that Starbucks has in like the coffee culture. Like I don't think anyone who takes coffee doesn't know what who Starbucks is, whether they are in your country or not. Because we don't have Starbucks in my country. Uh, I've heard of Starbucks like before, like I traveled to do my studies out in Southeast Asia. I had heard of Starbucks, but until I experienced it myself, did I understand, yeah, the significance. And even when I started to do branding is when I realized I really understood the impact that Starbucks has on the coffee industry. So I feel like they have similar, I don't say similar goals, but how can I say it? They're looking at Starbucks as like a source of inspiration to where they want to go. So vision. By the way, vision, sometimes this is optional. Mission as well. I don't say mission is optional because that is somewhat a lie. You can run your business without a mission or a vision. It would be difficult to make decisions within your business without a mission or some sort of guiding light. It would be difficult to run your business without some sort of guiding compass. When you have a mission, it's easier to make decisions. When you have a vision, at least you know where you want to go in like the grand scale of things. But it's not a must to have a vision. You can have a functioning business without a vision. You can run your business without a mission, but it's difficult to do that. So vision rather. Let's see. Vision. What would they want to be? I mean, a place where people enjoy what? Enjoy their time there. I mean, who goes to a place when they don't want to enjoy their time there? To become a place where people can enjoy and wine and interact. Trusted space. There. So when I say when I've added evening just because I don't know if I mentioned this before. John is a drinks expert, both in like the alcohol and non-alcohol department. So right now they couldn't afford it, but eventually, like maybe in a year or two, depending on how they do financially, they would want to turn their cafe into a cafe and bar. So yeah, having breakfast in the morning and then having drinks in the evening after a long day of work. Well, we can always like reword this, but like I feel like, yeah, the first meal. No, let's say mornings. Yeah, so like having a space where people in the morning, you go, you buy your breakfast, you go work, and then in the evening, you've had a long day, um, you go get like a drink or two, maybe talk with some friends, and then you head back home. And yeah, it becomes like I don't say routine, but it becomes like a destination spot. Is it a destination spot? What's what's the word? Your favorite place? Um, yeah, let's just go your favorite place to do certain things. To buy your breakfast, to go have your drinks. Um, and then of course it really heightens that whole intimacy feeling because now it no longer feels like a business. I don't want to say it feels like someone's home because that's a different level of intimacy, but it feels just like you're hanging out with friends. Okay, so I wrote down the values and values. What are the importance of values now? When you have a mission, it helps with your values as well. But it's difficult to have when you're starting, you may not exactly know what values you want for your business. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but experience is a big factor in the certain answers, uh, data, and information you collect to make your brand the way you want to make your brand, to brand your business basically. Um, and when you're starting, you may not know what values you want. You may not know what your mission statement would be. And that's fine. I feel like in terms of values, especially when you're starting like your first year of business, you can get away with having one value. Um, and if you don't even have any values, you can't really think about anything to show that your business is bigger than just an establishment selling coffee or selling tea. Um, you can use your own values to to brand your own business. For example, for myself, one of my core values, because sometimes that you can have like two or three core values and then like maybe have like three or four which are not as core, they're just there in the background. So one of my core values is my business is personal. So certain decisions I make within the business have to be in alignment with my faith as a Christian. I don't say woman. I am a woman, but I feel like woman makes me feel very old. But as a Christian, so certain decisions like I won't say I can't, I probably can and I probably will. I am a human being. I'm going to make bad decisions. I'm going to make mistakes. Which is also another core value of mine. I am human, I am flawed, I am not perfect. Um, so, for example, let me give an example of a decision I made recently. This is a concept brand, but this is not the first concept brand I wanted to showcase and share with you. Last year, was it last year? Last year, like early last year, there was this brand I wanted to showcase. It was a gin brand called Phantom, but the creative direction for it would be borderlining, not even borderline, it would be entering the whole spiritual realm, especially with the negative spiritual realm, demons, ghosts, all that. And whereas it feels harmless, like I'm not trying to channel demons, I feel like that would attract people who are into that kind of creative direction. And it would be, I don't say it would be difficult to say no because you can always say no, but I wouldn't want people to think that way of my business and brand, be like, oh, she can do it. When as a Christian woman, it's not exactly recommended that that be my image. So I had to put a pause, and not a pause, I had to stop whatever preparation I was doing for that brand, just because it was not in alignment with my core value, which is my business is personal. I mean, that value actually came after making that decision, because I realized that, yes, it is harmless, at least on the surface level it's harmless, but it definitely can do some sort of damage to my brand in the long run. Yeah, so if you are on this part, you're building your brand along with me for your business, whether it's a cafe, a boutique, electronic shop. um, if you don't know what kind of values you have, please do not copy. Don't look at other people's websites who are within your industry, unless maybe they're out of your industry. I feel like that is an exception, but don't copy and paste. Make sure it is really something you can embody. Don't say, for example, me with the example I gave, saying your business is personal, because it doesn't align to your faith, it doesn't align with the actions in the statement you say, because sometimes you can give your values. People just give values like this: getting one's money's worth, and then you leave it there, but you don't actually explain it. You should explain it, because if I just say my business is personal, someone may think that I get personal. I mean, maybe I do get personal with my clients. Did that sound wrong? But you get what I mean, right? In the safe sense. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm so sorry. I'm rambling. Let's just continue. Um, yeah, getting one's money's worth. Let's see. Money is already opportunity, and we want to give our customers the opportunity to enjoy be pricey, but we want it to be worth it. Yeah, I hope that is an easy explanation. Going against the norm. Should I? Going against the norm. In terms of our menu, our service, our relationship, and the experience. An idea I had here, because you have to be as specific as possible, because when you say, like, in terms of our menu, what do you mean? Are you going to serve different food? Is it the presentation going to be different? Are you going to be serving food on a stick compared to other people serving it on a plate? Like, you gotta be specific with these things. This, as I mentioned this in the previous episode, I am no chef. I am no cooking expert or culinary expert. I'm not culinary snob or enthusiast. I do love to eat, but like, I don't I know nothing about the restaurant business. I know some things about the restaurant business, but I do not know how intense it can get. Even if I do love to brand like food and drink establishments, I am an outsider, unless like I work like as a food critic or something like that. I won't really get the depths of what it means to run like a restaurant, or cafe or food and drink establishment until like I do it myself. Experience, as I said, is a big factor in terms of branding, both with the designer and also with the client. In terms of our menu, I had an idea of them having not necessarily a seasonal menu, but let's say I don't say a month, maybe a monthly menu. Like they don't stick, maybe they have like 4 or 5 core menu items that are standard, but then like maybe every month or every quarter they are changing up their menu. It could get tedious. That's the problem. It could get tedious in the long run. It's not something that is definitely sustainable now that I think about it. But I feel like that would definitely change. It goes against the norm because everyone else has like a standard menu. It's easy to like know that these people are serving this, they're known for this. Every time I've gone to Cafe J, I've loved their sandwiches, especially their club sandwich. So that is something I go for because I know it's good. If someone keeps changing the menu, then I won't know what is good. And if I'm in like rush hour, I don't want to think about what I want to eat. I can definitely maybe just go for somewhere, a place that serves something consistent, even if it's maybe at a different price point. Maybe it's more expensive or lower, but it's consistent in terms of the taste, in terms of what I'm receiving. So definitely having like a different menu every month or every quarter can negatively impact the business. However, maybe we do it the other way around. Maybe every month or every quarter they have 2 or 3 seasonal items. Yeah, so they have a core menu, but then like their specials, you can say, every month. I think every month, is it every month? Should be every month. Certain times within a quarter, maybe like maybe at the beginning of every month in every quarter, having a seasonal menu item. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I'm having a and like the seasonal item keeps changing every quarter. Yeah, like with the what do they call the double down? Like, oh, I have never loved KFC. I mean, I've loved KFC. In my country, I've only had KFC once, and the experience was bad. Like you see, that's this is when you serve good food. Because of that one experience, I have deemed the entire KFC franchise in my country as terrible. But when I went to study in Malaysia, I had the KFC. It wasn't bad. Actually, the taste was reminiscent of the KFC in the KFC. The chicken my mom makes at home. Of course, it was more greasy, and we don't really like put chili spices in our chicken. Or that my mom doesn't do that because I don't really know how to fry chicken. I can try, but I've never like really fully done it. Like it's never been my sole responsibility to fry the chicken from start to finish. So like the taste there, KFC Malaysia, especially the one next to my place, even though yeah, the ones next to my place were extremely not extremely, but they were close. It tasted extremely close to the chicken my mom makes at home, minus the chili because I always got like the spicy version. Um, Even if the spices we use are somehow different, there are few similar spices. I think KFC uses 12 spices. We don't really use a lot of spices. We use a lot of what do they call them? Are they vegetables? Like onions, garlic, green pepper, ginger, all those things. They're not exactly like spices in like powdered form, but they do spice up the food. Yeah. And what was the point of this? Gosh. Yes, the double down. Um, when they introduced the double down, I loved it. Like I would eat, I think, like 3 or 4 every time I could get the chance. That's because that's how good it was and how it went outside the norm. Maybe my palate is simplistic because I've seen people, but they're, of course, in the States, mention that the double down has not been good. And I don't understand what they're eating for them to make a decision. I don't understand how good it is, or how bad it is for them to like say that. I think every country definitely has their own standard in terms of the output of the food, especially when it comes to like big franchises for fast food restaurants. But I love the double down, and I ate it till I became overweight. I think it's one of the contributors to why I actually gained weight, because I'd eat it even after the gym. I didn't mind. I didn't care. If it was there, I would buy it. Um, yeah. So having a similar situation where the double down came out, I think what, once a year. Um, I think it came out like once a year, once every few years, because I had it. It came out like around, yeah, it came out like in my second year and my third year of university. First year, I don't think it was there. If it was, I didn't know about it. So like having a seasonal item available and changing it up, just change it up sometimes. Um, which is something I don't think a lot of cafes do. Learn about Cafe C, and as I said, it's been a while since I went to Cafe J, and I've only been to Cafe P once. So my experience is not exactly credible. Okay, let's leave it at that. Experimentation and adventure. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to like put them here just because I feel like it is. Hold on, where is it? It is like the same thing. Yeah, that's just from the experience. Like we're not changing the way people interact with us every time they come to our store. Um, let's see, something like that. Quite yes or no. I don't want to write visually because visuals are something can people can always change their visuals. You may say, everyone else is doing a modern thing, let me do traditional, and then someone else is doing traditional, and another person copies, and then traditional becomes a standard. Uh, so you can't really change that. Visuals is not exactly something, and say credible to be like, oh, this is a value, this is what makes us stand out. I mean, they can help with that, but visuals can always be changed. Yeah, I don't know if I've made sense. Okay, good energy. My battery 26%. Okay. Source of good energy. With our customers should be we want our customers to feel like our place will always be a space for them. Yeah. To recharge, unwind, and prepare for the day ahead. Again, unwind should be for when the bar actually is established, charge and prepare for the day. Okay. All right, next one is attributes. Normally I like break them down into look. Let's do look, feel, or be, or do. I mean, there are three different things, but like the attributes could always be the same. And then sound. Um, so they want to look attractive, approachable, easygoing, cheerful, bright, clean, and not the standard, like on face level value. Someone has not interacted with your business, they have seen you from afar, they've seen maybe your post on Instagram or whatever social media platform they're using, but they have not actually bought from you. They have not talked to anyone who's bought from you. Just from the eyes alone, they have seen your business. What do you want them to think about your business? What do you want to be when they look at your business? And people normally like stop there, be like, oh, I want to just be attractive, I want to be approachable and clean and understand it. But again, you gotta be specific about how you're not going to be the standard, how you plan to be clean, how you plan to be approachable, and all that. This was just my reminder to say that. mm, Attractive. Now, I did say visuals can always change, but visuals are key in influencing someone's perception of your brand, because if they're not hearing your brand from someone else, their eyes will influence whether they walk into your store or they pass by it and they don't give it any time of day. So whatever attraction they want to have should be enough for someone, even if they don't buy from them, they look at it and they're, oh, I'd want to go there someday. So we're gonna just say visuals because it's the looking. So visuals are permitted here. um, the environment. You'd be surprised how many, I don't say restaurants or cafes or like confectioners, because those are normally clean to some extent, depending on where they are. But they are places where cleanliness is not something they prioritize within their business. Um, of course, those are places that normally are in like low budget areas, extremely low budget areas, like areas, especially in my country, where serve local food, especially like in town, like downtown. It's not clean. At least doesn't look clean to me. Maybe it's just a me thing. I know I don't love traditional food as much, um, but I would be compelled to sit in a place that serves traditional food and even order it if the place was clean. But when I see these small street areas, I mean, street food is on a different level than like cafes and restaurants. It's, I don't say it's on a lower level, but like the standards are different, the expectations are different. But I feel like cleanliness should be a standard when you're serving food in general. It can make or break your business. Just because you're seeing someone else, whether they're a street vendor, a food kiosk, a confectionery, a cafe, that is still getting business, but their place is not clean. Yes, their food might be amazing. Still keep the standard, you know, make sure your place is clean. That would actually set you apart from the other people who are just, they don't really care about cleanliness. Yeah, so the environment should be clean. What do we call the facade, the architecture, kiosk design? Yeah, let's just use kiosk because it's going to be a kiosk. Um, Approachable, easygoing, cheerful, bright. Let's just say visuals for now. Now, to break this down even, I mean, I'll talk about this more in, you'll see the effects of this in the mood boards in the creative direction. But lights can always, like, this is my own personal notes, not something that a client would see. Lights definitely help to attract people. Um, Yeah, lights. Okay, the feel and be. They want to feel worth the money. So portion should be bigger. Obviously, they're charging a lot, not at all, but it's pricier than the average standard. So the portion should be worth it. Um, Convenient. This also depends on the packaging. Um, yeah, because like if they are maybe having like rice and beef, that has like soap or curry, or it's like a curry thing, um, yeah, it could spill compared to if someone just ordering a sandwich. So your packaging will definitely determine how this would work out. Okay, hold on. I think I'm gonna redo this. Convenient in terms of is consumed. Also depends on the packaging. Pleasant to be around. I'm not smiling. Um, yeah. Let me give an example of as I said before, every restaurant, every eating and drink, every business in general should have customer service as a standard. So like greeting people, especially if you're like a receptionist or someone who's taking order at the service counter, you'd be like, oh, welcome to, I don't know, KFC, welcome to Starbucks. Can I have your order? Simple, clean, straight to the point. It's a fast food restaurant anyway, so like it should be like that. Compared to like, oh, welcome, hi, is this your first time here? Um, my name is Rob, or my name is Makeup, because my name is Maker. I will be your server. What can I get you? What are you in the mood for? Do you want something heavy? Do you want something light? Okay, maybe not as not with those many questions, but it feels less scripted than when someone's just, oh, welcome to Starbucks, welcome to KFC. What do you want to order? You know, uh, I feel like that feels very intimate, more intimate than just saying, welcome, what do you want to order, straight to the point. Attentive. Mm, an idea I had is like adding like oh sorry, adding a freebie. I don't know, maybe a cookie, a fruit, um, to those who look like they are having a rough morning. That can definitely lift your spirits. Um, yeah, I mean, like, of course, you need to be really like not attentive. You need to know facial expressions because people in the past have told me, I don't know about now, I haven't really met new people in a while, but people in the past have told me that I look unapproachable, I look sad, I look like I have had a bad day. I'm not always smiling, I'm not always cheerful, which is fine. And someone could take that as me being like depressed, uh, having a bad day, and I could get a free cookie because of that. But when I'm actually fine, maybe I'm focused on something, maybe I just don't have anything to do, and that's just my normal face. Yeah, so you need to really be good at telling someone's facial expressions, apart from when they're just like me, someone who just normally has, I don't say a sad face, but a face that doesn't look cheerful compared to someone who actually has had a bad day. It's not a must, because some people like me will get freebies just for having a normal face. But yeah, passionate, energetic, in the process of making and serving a customer. But it's, I always think about it long term, there's only so much energy you can give in the morning, like especially maybe like from, because they open from 6:30 to like 12, so maybe like from 6:30 to like 8:30 the energy is like high, they're greeting people, they're smiling. But if they've had a lot of customers, that energy can deplete. Maybe extroverts are different, but I know I'm an introvert, so obviously what I'm saying may not hold weight to this, but I feel like there's human beings can get tired eventually. I could be wrong. If you're an extrovert, let me know. How would you feel if you are energetic in the morning from 6:30 to 12:30? Of course with breaks, because customers are not always flocking to your store. But like, would you always have energy when a customer comes in, despite what time it is in the day? A source of good energy. Mm, yeah, talking to them like a friend. Uh, being attentive. Okay, let's just leave it there. Daring, experimental, different from the rest. The menu. I think the menu is a key factor here. And the kiosk design. Yeah. There is something we can do to make this business stand out within budget. It is going to take like 80% of the cash, but visuals really matter. As long as the food is good, the visuals will help elevate the brand experience, and people will come back, uh, and people will recognize you just from like your logo alone. Like, oh, this is the place where I had a very good sandwich. You should go there sometime. Yeah. Okay. Sound cheerful, playful, friendly, and casual. I feel like these ones don't really need explanation. Like, how do you sound cheerful? Um, Greeting with a smile, playful communication with the with each other within the kiosk. I've seen people like when they're working, especially like KFC. I don't know about Starbucks, so KFC, it doesn't feel very, I don't want to say friendly. Um, there's barely any, I'd say, camaraderie. It feels like a professional setting, and it's a workplace. You're not really there to make friends. But since this a place was said by friends, I feel like joking with each other um, can help lift someone's mood, but also can actually kill someone's mood, because like someone will be like, oh, it's not taking my order seriously, because they're on the floor, they're throwing things, flying things, is laughing, and like a minute has passed and I still haven't got my sandwich. So like it's a double-edged sword. Um, Friendly and casual tone of voice. We're not using professional talk here. Um, yeah, so unless of course someone is elderly, like extremely elderly, look like they're older than James and John, then maybe they can be more formal in the way they speak to the customer. But if someone is roughly the same age as them, just be like, oh hey, what's your name? Oh, my name is Andrew. Like, oh Andrew, okay, my name is James. I'll be serving you today. What would you like to order? Something along those lines. I don't Yeah. Okay. Let's check my battery again. 12%. It won't last. I'm gonna take a break and come back to this. Okay, I'm back. Next question. What do you want people to feel when they see and interact with your brand? Um, I feel like those are two different questions. So, because on the surface level, when someone sees your brand, they'll be intrigued. Be like, oh, I want to go to this place someday. Um, or they'll go there at that moment, like, oh, this looks interesting. Let me check it out. And then when they interact with your brand is what solidifies whatever feelings they have for your brand. Be like, oh, this place is actually really good. I'll come back here again. Or be like, oh, it's not worth it. Or it's just mid. It's all right. There's nothing special about it. So seeing an interaction is seeing and the interactions you have with your customers or clients are two different situations. I don't say problems, two different scenarios. Yeah, so this is one question. These are two questions in one. So first answer is, what do you want people to see, to feel, what they see interact with your brand? Well, on the seeing side, let's do that. Seeing, um, intrigue, you know. I, I want to say awe, just because I already know, like, I don't say I already know the future. I have some sort of concrete idea about what the creative structure is going to look like. But again, the budget is the limiting factor. So I'm not entirely sure if I can pull it off. So I want to say all, but I'm not sure if like the execution will be that, like the people will be in awe with the execution. Um, so what did I write for look? Intrigued, enticed, the same way as the same way of saying intrigued. Let's see. Curious. I don't say welcome. I think I mentioned this. Feeling welcome, having good customer service, having good food. Those are like standards in the business, in the restaurant industry. That should be the standard. Um, okay, welcoming, maybe not, because I don't know if this is the actual thing, but in anime that I've watched, I've seen like delinquent cafes, and of course, delinquents are not exactly welcoming. Um, so it could be, there could be exceptions to the welcoming rule, but overall, welcoming should be like a standard in your restaurant, your cafe, your eating or drink establishment. Alright, intrigued, enticed, curious. Okay, I can't find the other one, but let's do with the interaction. I don't answer pleasant. I'm looking at the previous, like what we did, the feel be, because they could be like things you can pick from there. Um, when they interact with your brand, I don't say happy. Let's say cheerful for now, or grateful. Okay, appreciative is actually not a word for grateful, so cheerful and grateful are two different words. Great. I don't say happy. Put in a good mood. Yeah. Um, So I tended to, how can I write that? I tended to seen or heard, someone who like, oh, are you okay? Is everything going on? Is everything okay? Maybe not as deep as being like, oh, you look like you really had a bad day. What's going on? And start a whole conversation when um you're ordering your food, but maybe you feel, as I mentioned before, the whole putting a freebie in the packaging for someone who has ordered food who doesn't look like they have had or are going to have a good day. Definitely, if someone, if it was me, I didn't have a good start to the morning of going to buy some breakfast. I'm not really paying attention to what's going on. I'm just maybe checking my text messages or maybe trying to get rid of the ugly feeling I'm feeling before I get into work. And I get my food, I maybe say thank you. I say thank you even if even if it's like in passing. I am grateful for people's service. And then I get to work, I'm trying to eat, and I notice, oh, there's an extra piece that I didn't order, and there's a note saying, you looked like you needed extra boost of energy. Here is an apple to help you be merry throughout the day. I would feel seen and I'm like, oh, someone actually noticed that I'm not in a good mood. And I'll go back. So like those little details definitely can increase the loyalty you have with your customers, or your customers have with you. Wait, one of those two. Okay, so that's that. And then what would influence those feelings? It's always good to be specific. Intrigue, enticing visuals. Okay. Kiosk design, lighting, because I am thinking of utilizing lighting to attract people. Again, I'm not an interior design expert, I'm an enthusiast. So I don't know everything. I'm just using whatever knowledge I've acquired thus far. It's an enticing kiosk design. Okay, this is surface level seeing. I don't know what kind of imagery we're going to use. I don't know if illustrations are expensive. Photography, I didn't even think about photography. Wow, this is serious. £3,000 is really not a lot. However, it's always possible as long as someone has a good phone. But they do not discriminate against phones. As long as you have a phone, a phone in good condition, you can easily take pictures and edit them, because a lot of free editing software. I personally use Lightroom, the mobile version, and that's how like I come up with presets for certain brands. So you can take your own pictures with guidance. So obviously now, since I've just remembered photography is going to be something that they need to do, since I can't do illustrations. I mean, I can, but I'm still a student, and we're all still students. But I'm still like a beginner in illustration, so I'm not confident in saying, oh, I'll illustrate your menu for you. No, I wouldn't do that. Photography is much easier for me, so I would help them with that. So let's say the photography. Let's just say visuals. So like the photography, layout, maybe even graphics, packaging. I'm going to see if I can try the most budget-friendly way of making packaging the most enticing thing that people have seen. I have my doubts though. Okay, enticing kiosk design, lighting, visuals, photography, layout, graphics. and packaging. Okay. Wait, what did I do? Next, cheerful. Actually, no, let's just put in a good mood. How do you do that? Greet them well, I assume. I mean, there's only so much a greeting can do. Okay, when I say energy, energy could be misunderstood. Because energy, when I think about energy, I think about someone who just is jumping up and down. But when I say friendly greeting, it's yes, it shows something. It's more personal, more intimate, more intimate, and cheerful, and like when you see your friend, like how you normally be like, hey, how are you? Like, you know, I don't know if I made sense, but I hope you understand. Put in a good mood for the greeting. Process. Grateful. So this one is actually an exceptional emotion because not everyone's going to be in a bad mood. Yeah, so this is a rare occasion. Wait, no. Grateful and seen or heard are in the same bracket. Let's see. It doesn't have to always be a bad situation. It could be a good situation where someone's got a promotion. Maybe they confessed to someone and the person agreed. Or an investment they made came through for them, or they received really good news. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Those things, whatever occasion someone has happened, whatever occasions have happened to the same person, could be celebrated by giving freebies. Going to put space between them so it doesn't look very hard. I mean, this is all going to be presented well eventually. Yeah, so that is that. And then 31, next question. What don't you want your people to feel when they say interact with your brand? Okay, so what are the things we don't want them to feel, to see or feel when they interact with our brand? First is basic. Oh, the standard. Yeah, they don't need to look the basic. They don't look like everyone else. In terms of kiosks, kiosks are very,
I had this discussion with my father.
especially in the city, are very small, extremely small. They can hold 2 people at most, and they are not places where people cook from. It's normally having like dry ratio food.
Sorry, I'm confusing the Japanese and my English.
As well as maybe like a charger. And actually the kiosks are multi,
I was having this conversation with my dad.
They serve multiple purposes. They're normally places where you can get like airtime,
and how
do like mobile money
they managed to build
transactions,
a cathedral with the tools that they had.
yeah,
at that
buy
time. I
quick
don't know what tools
snacks.
they had.
They're
I watched
never,
a
it's
show
not usually
about
just like a
how,
kiosk for food. I
different
mean, there
cathedrals, but it was in
are
Italy, not
exceptions.
in
I've seen
Spain.
a couple of
They
kiosks
used sandstone and they used like
in
hand tools.
my city, which is QuanQuan-Quan city.
And then like the conversation with my
But
dad, I was like,
Yeah, I mean, they look
equipment now, of course.
they're okay.
But our
They stand out,
especially in my
definitely.
country,
But
it's so basic. No one.
I personally have not been intrigued. I mean, I do want to try their food because I've never really
safety concerns that
eaten from a like a food, like a proper food kiosk.
But creative
Yeah. So
architectural structures.
they don't want to be the basic.
Or
They don't want to be basic
like,
or the standard in terms of
it's better for your safety to not
kiosk
have an architectural structure that stands out.
design.
Or people are just lazy.
Visuals
and
visuals, yeah, because those are two things that people will see.
They're okay with the whole square
and
rectangular
then
shape
interact
over the city. Yeah, so everyone, I don't say everyone looks the same because of course
in a bad mood. I feel like I mentioned this before with I think what we won't want to be known for.
Wood, not windows, but like the structure around
put in a bad mood.
Wood. I don't know about metal. I don't think metal is one of them. But glass, wood, wall, concrete, brick, exposed brick,
giving customers an
the
attitude
different materials used,
and
but
a bad
the
service
basic structure is the same. It's a
experience.
square or a rectangle. And I feel like, I mean, I'm someone who likes the whole modern design concept. You know, I love a good modern interior design look, or even the architectural structure, the exterior.
Buy from the cafe.
But like, even sometimes,
some people who speak French may get put off by the fact that there is no.
Like now,
is it an apostrophe?
We all are squares and rectangles. And I know that
sign above the E for cafe.
Rectangle.
Yeah.
What was the point of this? I'm sorry. Sometimes I keep forgetting what my rant's about. Anyway,
properly. Not basic. Yeah. Okay, next one is sing or disappointed. I think I'll put the food experience here. Right, I forgot my X doesn't work. I'll just yeah, I think that's it. Because like you don't go to restaurants wanting people to point out you're in a bad mood or wanting to, I mean, depends on the situation. If I'm in a bad mood, obviously I don't want everyone to be like, oh, you're in a bad mood, what happened? I'm not gonna tell everyone my feelings. But if I'm in a good mood and something good has happened, I've had good news, then maybe I'll tell like, oh, you know, I got a promotion, investment came through. No, I would never tell about my money. I'd say, you know, yeah, good things have been happening to me lately, and I thank God for it. You know, keep it short and sweet. Yeah. Okay, what would influence those feelings? Having a standard, or I don't want to say boring. I never like using the word boring. Maybe I've been scarred by the word. People used to call me boring in high school. I don't like the word because of that. But having a standard, or I don't want to say basic. I'm trying to look for how to say it. Nani. What is the opposite of intrigue? Kiosk design that doesn't catch someone's eye. Looking at these answers, I feel like my brand, since it's a concept design,
I feel like my brand expertise is showing through because like do clients really think about, especially no offense to men, I do know there are men who like really care about design and aesthetics, but I feel like the majority are simple creatures as long as you give them good food and maybe the vibes are okay, they won't really care about what your kiosk looks like. Uh, so now I'm really thinking about the answers. Mm, but it's the only thing I can think about. Seeing, oops, oh, chills. Um, okay, let's just leave it there. Let's assume that there are also people who like design as well. I mean, they wouldn't have hired me if they didn't care about the look and feel of their business. So, um, wait, did I just give the answers here? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's just do this, make this into one question. What's the same thing happening here in this one? We'll fix that on later. And the last question is, if there's one thing you want to be remembered for, what would it be and why? Because people, these guys are starting, and even if you yourself, you're starting your business, all this, by the way, I don't say it's unnecessary. It's definitely good to know these things and of course summarize it in a way where it's easy for you to remember that, well, you know, we're supposed to be cheerful, we're supposed to be luxurious, supposed to be adventurous, because it's a lot of content, and especially the first 3 years of your business, you don't really know, you're testing things out, you don't really know what exactly you lean towards until like you gain experience with interacting with people, that you understand that, oh, I want this, I don't want this. Yeah, so all this information is a lot, definitely, but it's also, as much as it's for the client to understand what direction they're supposed to go in, it's also for me to understand what business they try, what brand they want to build, and put that in a way, put that in like a summarized version that they can easily remember, especially with like the creative direction. Yeah, so this is probably to summarize everything here. It's always good to let all the information out and then like really pick out 1, 2, 3 key things. Um, yeah, but also this is to maybe summarize the name of the vibe of the brand, like because they say brand is the perception or reputation of your company, or business rather. So if there's one thing you want to be remembered for, what would it be? For example, I'll give Apple. I'm not sure if this would be their answer, but maybe they'd say innovative. And when I think about Apple, and when on a global scale people think about Apple, I think innovative should be one of the common words that are associated with Apple. So, what word, what phrase? Because it could be a phrase, it could be a word that summarizes what kind of feeling you want, what kind of reputation you want your business to have. And for this case, I want to say a good place to hang out, but they're still in a phase where they don't have a space for people to hang out. um yeah, so I'm not sure if I should repeat a source of good energy.
Let me look through and see if I can pick something. I mean, I can always answer this a different day, by the way. I think I mentioned this in the first episode, the first part of this series, that sometimes the answers will not be instant. You may find the answers immediately, or it may take a few days, a few hours for the answers to hit you. I could try to be known. Let me first write a few words that are coming into my mind. Not that people don't put in effort in their business, but I feel like once business gets stable, and because they're starting out, obviously they're on a different scale, different level than people who have been established for 5-10 years, the Cafe J and Cafe P. So obviously the level of effort is going to be different. I've noticed this for other businesses. There's a place where we normally buy dry ratio food in bulk, and there have been times where they have not given us the best experience just because they are familiar with us, so they have not prioritized our orders and all that. So I feel like once you get once you have a certain number of years working with your business, you can kind of get, I'd say, laid back, complacent, in the kind of effort you put with your business, because now sometimes you're not even as hands-on as you used to be, because maybe you've had more staff, so the experience can be diluted. Yeah. But then let's think about the future later. Right now, we're thinking about the first 2 years of business. Um, Trying to find the right way to say this one. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'll pick one eventually. Maybe I'll even add to the mix and then pick one later. But I feel like, yeah, I'm on the right track in terms of what kind of direction we're going to go for. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I really can't wait to get into the mood boarding phase. Um, yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about getting closer to that phase, just because I still haven't made up my mind if I'm going to do a logo or not. Um, so yeah. Um, Friends who serve good food. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Uh, you can always, like, I don't want you to feel pressured into writing one answer at the moment. As I said before, the answers can hit you at different times. It can hit you after a few hours, after a few days, after a few weeks, maybe. Hopefully not weeks, because you don't want to be
inspired by other people and get influenced. I mean, it's always good to pick inspiration from others, but it's a problem when you like another person's brand so much that you want to replicate it in your business. So yeah, you don't need to write one answer here. You can write a list of answers and see which one you'd probably want to work towards, so that your brand, it's one of the words that people associate with when they think about your business. And yeah, so the next part, we are going to be talking, or rather I'm going to be filling out the prompts for the people. We are going to now discover who our target market is, because these people have not served anyone yet. They don't really have like, or I mean, they gave like a rough estimate of single men between the age of 28 and 30, was it 33 or 35, who work in QuanQuan-Quan city and earn a minimum of £1,700. But then we'll be fleshing them out more. People usually stop there at saying, oh, single men between the age of 28 and 33. Sometimes they just stop there instead of maybe adding who work in QuanQuan City and also giving their salary estimate, because money is important when it comes to how people are willing, when it comes to how much people are willing to spend. If someone is earning really low, let's say £500 a month, and your product or service is like, let's say £30, £60, definitely there are going to be other things that prioritize over your product or service, and will just show that these people are not your ideal client. Because if it's a struggle for them to spend that kind of money on things that are not basic needs in a month, then obviously your business, your product or your service will not be something that they're going to splurge on until they make more money. So tip for building your ideal client profile or ideal customer profile is make sure they are able to afford your product or service, and also make sure they have the time and the means and capabilities to afford your product or service. Like as I said before, with this they're single because they, in this with this cafe, the target audience is single, just because when you're married you're likely to have breakfast at home, so there will be no need for you to spend money outside on breakfast, unless your wife doesn't cook well, but those are rare cases. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing in the next episode. So subscribe and stay tuned for that. I'll talk to you guys another time.